Hello and welcome to Hey, I Loved That Movie, the podcast where we rewatch the films we loved when we were younger to see if they still hold up. I'm Dan.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Helena.
And it is the end of Shrek-tember, and we are finishing it with Shrek Forever After.
Woohoo! It's over. We did it, guys.
It's done. We watched all 4 Shrek films.
Yeah. So what are your guys' memories of this one? Because as I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I have seen this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely Shrek 3 and 4 plots were very much interchangeable in my mind.
Yeah. As shown by us not knowing that the Do the Raw kid is in this one.
Yes, and can we, as that happens right at the beginning, can we just talk about the fact I thought that was like a one-off little line. He fucking says it like 30 times.
Yeah.
That's
What the hell?
That's the quotable bit of this movie.
Yeah, there are. It's the only good, it's not the only good bit. There's like one other good bit. I don't know. I've seen this film once. I'm going to say I've seen this film once in the past.
Yeah, I think I've seen, I want to say approximately probably 72%. Definitely
Yeah.
not the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen the end, but I've seen probably the middle.
The most important part of any film.
Yeah. So all I remembered was sort of, feral Fiona, and that was it.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the Do the Raw kid, and there was a couple of bits, and the one bit that I remembered when it actually came up was Fat Puss in Boots, which was very funny.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this out there, because I think you guys need to know. I didn't mind this film.
No, I didn't actively hate it, which is more than I can say about Shrek 3.
And is that because Shrek 3 broke us?
Maybe.
I still think Shrek 3 has better bits.
Yeah.
Shrek 3
Really?
feels more like a Shrek film. This feels
This just felt like a fine kids film.
Yeah, this felt like a kid's. I wouldn't, other than Shrek being in it, it didn't have any of like the Shrekisms.
No.
It didn't have any like pop culture references or
Or even one thing I was thinking.
good music.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking was sort of the opposite of what we said about Shrek the Third, where it was they introduced all these new characters and stuff like that. In this, the characters that are there as little cameos, I feel like there should have been more of that, because in this alternate universe where Shrek was never born, Farquaad would still be around. Charming
Yeah.
would probably still be around as well. The fairy godmother could have. I was expecting something from at least one of those.
Yeah.
And none of them are in it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't feel Shrekky, it's just got Shrek in it.
Yeah, it was weird that there wasn't a... You'd have expected a cameo. Even if it was just them, ruined because Far, Far Away is obviously under Rumpelstiltskin's rule and not the king and queen of Far, Far Away. So you're kind of okay, that makes, it makes sense that certain things haven't happened, but also, Lord Farquaad should have existed.
It felt like... So this film felt like... They made 1 and 2 and it was great. And then they made 3 and then they went, ooh, no one really liked 3. And then they decided 4 was going to be the last one. This film had very, finale
It's very
vibes.
self-congratulatory at the end. With the credits.
It's full on, finale vibes. We're not making any more. This is it. They're now happy. Nothing else we can't do anything else. That's what it felt like. But, if it was that, if that was the goal, they should have definitely had a Lord Farquaad cameo and a fairy godmother and charming thing.
Or even just something where it was Fiona killed Farquaad or something. Because he did actually go to expect her to be rescued, and then because she broke herself out, and then she dealt with him more.
Well, I can see not having Farquaad in it. Because So this film is about Shrek going to Rumpelstiltskin and signing a contract. Shrek was never born, essentially.
So Shrek basically wants a day off. He's overwhelmed and overtired and whatever. He's stressed out. Is it their first birthday or something?
Yeah.
Bearing in mind they have triplets, which is, pretty
a lot.
pretty hardcore. and Rumpelstiltskin, who we find out always hated Shrek because he was about to get the king and queen
to sign
away the kingdom to get to heal Fiona.
Yeah.
And Shrek was there just in time that they didn't have to sign it.
Yeah.
And the thing with that is, as well, is that at that time, the king knew that Prince Charming was currently on the way to try and rescue Fiona.
Did he, though?
Yeah, because he set up the whole thing that was the plot of Shrek 2.
No, because he didn't know.
Spoke to the fairy godmother.
No, because it's later, after they've already got married and been on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Not much later, but later that he goes to the castle.
Yeah.
Also, like, the whole concept of far, far away being far, far away is, like, so conveniently forgotten in this film.
Oh, yeah, everything is, like, fucking next to each other.
No, Shrek was out for 2.5 months. He was out cold for a month. No, Shrek. Yeah, no. They could have definitely done this before they went to Fairy Godmother.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have gone if they knew that Fiona had already been rescued. Then they wouldn't have had to go to the Fairy Godmother to say, "Hey, can Charming be her husband?" Because they would assume that Charming was the dad. At least would assume that Charming was the one that had rescued her. So that plot was already in place when they went to Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, but they don't know that plot has failed. So I don't really understand why they're then being like, "This is our last resort. We've got to do it today," and not like, "Okay, we're going to read through this contract, get our lawyers to have a look at it, and we'll get back to you."
Did they know that Charming? They didn't know that Charming.
The whole the pulley filler that I put in this gaping hole in my brain this time watching it, because I did kind of want to enjoy the film. Was that even if the king knew, he was having to go along with Lillian. She's the one pushing it because she doesn't know about she doesn't know about Prince Charming being sent.
Yeah. Because
in Shrek 2, it's like, the king has made a deal with the fairy godmother to send.
And
Charming.
Lillian doesn't know.
Yeah.
I thought Charming was going anyway, and that was why they were making the deal.
Reason that Charming's going to the reason he's going to go and rescue her is because he has the king's blessing essentially to marry.
I thought that was after he
the king's like,
that.
"No, you have to go and do it," because
I thought that was after he got back they made that deal. No.
It seemed like
and that's why he was so cross that he got there and there wasn't anyone there. And the reason, so obviously when he was turned into, I think the idea is that when he was turned from a frog into a king or a prince, by the fairy godmother, the rule, it was sort of Rumpelstiltskin-esque in that it was like, and then your firstborn child will marry my son.
Yeah, I guess he just panicked and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so apart from that.
Unless
itty bitty plot hole.
Yeah.
No, it's not really a plot hole actually, because if he was biding his time and going to sign it, then when they say he was saved, like Fiona had been saved, they would just assume it was Charming that did it, right?
Yeah, because I suppose the king is kind of like slightly hesitant about doing it, but I don't know. It was a weird opening, and I was like, this kind of juxtaposes with what happened.
It really, I think, relies quite heavily on you having not just marathon Shrek.
Yeah, no, it's like that was made 3 years ago. Don't talk about it.
Let us just use the summary that we give you at the start.
Please.
Yeah, ignore that Rumpelstiltskin was in the last movie but looks completely different. It's fine.
A Rumpelstiltskin can look like whatever he wants. That's his magic. We don't know how many people had signed contracts between
maybe
those
he was
two
just
times.
in a wig.
Yeah, many wigs.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, he does have many wigs.
Anyway, because this film is rife with plot holes in comparison to the other films, just by its pure nature. But it felt like a finale film, and it felt like it should have had a cameo from, at least from the fairy. Because I understand why they wouldn't have Farquaad, because Farquaad, if Fiona wasn't there to save, and Far, Far Away didn't exist, to be honest with you, Farquaad's probably no longer whatever he is.
Yeah, he's probably not a lord anymore.
Yeah.
But he would have, the timeline only changed at the point, so even though Shrek was never born, the timeline then only changed when the king and queen signed over Far, Far Away to Rumpelstiltskin. So Farquaad would have still been like trying to find someone to rescue.
Yeah,
Fiona, but I guess just whoever went died.
Yeah, the actual film is set years later.
Yeah,
like,
it was originally just going to be his knights, wasn't it? And he was like, we're just going to keep sending knights until one of you brings back Fiona, and you can just assume that the dragon took care of all of them.
Well, you'd assume like Rumpelstiltskin, as soon as that day happened, would have sent someone to get Fiona. That's probably how she escaped.
But
right?
she says that she broke herself out, though.
Yeah.
So I imagine that he said that, but then didn't send anyone to rescue her.
Yeah.
He just left her there
she changed, like she stopped turning into. Well, he didn't.
No.
Yeah, he didn't even. Obviously, there's some sort of horrible clause in.
Yeah. Well, it's that he makes all their problems disappear, but he does that by making the king and queen disappear, so they no longer have problems. So it's like, yeah. So it's like, well, it's not a problem anymore because you don't exist. So
yeah, his sort of MO, really.
Yeah, pretty much. He's a bit of a shit cunt, you know.
Yeah, the Rumpelstiltskin is a bit of a shit gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, this film should have had a fairy godmother. At least have her as like a lounge singer somewhere.
Yeah.
Singing like a version. It would have been great if she was singing a version of I Need a Hero.
Yeah.
She was doing like a lounge, like soft jazz version of I Need a Hero. Would have been great.
Yeah.
And this film would have felt like... This film has the same problem as the third one, where it could be great and it could have been an amazing like finale Shrek film, but it had no energy to it.
Yeah. The more I talk about it, the more I dislike it. But I enjoyed it in the moment. I'm trying to remember that much. Like I didn't hate. I was actually fairly gripped.
Yeah, but it just had no like. You want it to go. You want this film to go and just like have that ending feeling of the first one and second one, where it's like, fuck yeah, go Shrek.
It doesn't have that, but what it does have, I guess, is like a plot that's at least a bit interesting, unlike in Shrek 3. Like,
yeah, that's what I think. The plot is actually as bizarre and sort of poorly executed as it is. The plot is better than the third film.
Yeah, because the third one's just, hey, go find this kid. Cool.
It kind of went in the opposite direction of the third one.
Yeah, they focused more on actual plot than funnies.
Well, not just that. Like the third one, the plot is like you go across the world, go to and do like the high school thing, and then do the magical Merlin thing, and then get back. Well, it does like global sort of stuff happening, and then this one is like it's set here, and we're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
we're not going anywhere, but it's like
in the swamp.
Yeah, and it's like alternative reality instead.
Yeah.
But it's like we're not doing anything. We're doing everything in these three places that we know.
Yeah.
And it was like it's all happening within 24 hours.
Yes, that was actually something that I found quite reassuring.
Yeah,
because it was like this is going to be over soon, one way or another.
I was really hoping they weren't going to find a way to extend it. We're like, damn, the 24 hours is missed. I guess we'll have to find another way.
Yeah, because it was kind of fun just seeing Shrek like actually enjoying being an ogre, and then just the realization of like, oh shit, what?
So yeah, so him going to his swamp and like it's just being like totally wiped out, and like his stomach
just dry and
everything's dry and barren. That was
Weird.
quite strange, but it was just like, okay, like you can sort of get on board with that. They really lean into the post-traumatic stress disorder that Fiona has, which I thought was, maybe a bit heavy for a Shrek film, but it was always kind of there in the background, wasn't it? It was like she was locked in a tower for most of her life.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And now she broke herself out and managed to find other ogres for the first time in the Shrek series.
I've ever seen other ogres,
and they're not. What I guess I find frustrating about this one as well is that the start of the film is very much I want to be an ogre again,
yeah.
And then we have all these other ogres not acting like ogres.
Yeah,
But
working together, forming an alliance.
I mean, they never talk about it, but is that because they have to?
You just expect a bit more infighting and a bit more like
ogreness.
Yeah. Like it's sort of gross, but even it's not that gross.
No, it's just all eyeballs.
And you'd expect, like, the reason that Fiona's able to sort of keep a hand on it is that she's able to get everyone to sort of stay in line as much as possible and stop all the infighting and the, like, you'd imagine that trying to get a group of organise ogres should be a huge challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine
And it's kind of just like
because-
she's just like, no, they just need like a little bit of guidance and training, and everyone gets along and eats the food that the chef cooks, and it's like
I think it's because all the rest of them have been basically kidnapped by Rumpelstiltskin because he's got them like as slaves working things. So I'm guessing it's like ogres are even more downtrodden in this universe.
Yeah,
So they are like trying to band together. But it is weird that the ogres were like that fucking close.
It's
like
just a bit
Shrek
weird that they don't like cover it. It's not
Yeah.
like, and this was really difficult, and we've had to like not be. We've had to like learn to be a team.
It
kind of felt like every single time Shrek left his swamp, he went right and found no ogres. But if he went left for 5 minutes, there was a whole fucking village of them.
Yeah, well, it fits. I think what's weird about the ogres is like, in the first 3 films, we're constantly told how ogre-like and like terrible and chaotic and scary ogres are.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing you know about ogres from the first 3 films. They like to be left alone, they don't like other people, and they are scary and eat living things. That's all you know about them. And Shrek is different. Like, they make that point. Shrek is un-ogre-like.
Yeah, he loses his and that's the start of this film.
Yeah.
Is like,
That's
you're
the
not
whole
even. You're
point
not. I remember when you used to be a real ogre, and he's
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck, dude? I am a real ogre."
Oi. And then, and then...
And then
but
has to like try and put his pushchair back together.
Yeah, and then every other ogre is exactly like Shrek is.
Yeah.
Which is it is really, and they don't even attempt to be like, oh, we're down, we're fighting, we're in the resistance, that's why we're working together. It's like, no, this is just what ogres are like.
It's just an army. It was just so generic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it could have been an army of just magical creatures, and that would have kind of made more sense.
That would have been
And if
better
you'd had
as
like
well.
more drama of like she's trying to, band together all the magical creatures that don't want to work together, like like when Puss eats the 3 blind mice in Shrek 2, or like when he
or
eats
when he eats Gingy.
Gingy in this one.
Yeah.
That
which
was
is
great.
fucking bleak.
By the way,
But-
That makes even
great.
more sense as well, though, because like the whole point of Shrek 1 was that all of the fairy tale creatures were rounded up and disregarded. So it's like,
Yeah.
it would make sense for them to be the army that are trying to be like,
And,
no, we belong here.
And they
If
could
you-
be like, first it was Farquaad, and we managed
Well,
to break out of that. Maybe
if
we
you-
can do it again.
if
And
you're gonna-
you've got like PTSD, war-trodden Gingy.
Well, no, if you're gonna do it that way, have Farquaad be the magical hunter, the magic animal hunter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, instead
have
of the
that
Pied
be
Piper.
what? Yeah, no, yeah, have that be what?
Yeah, I felt like we did not need another
No.
guy introduced.
The
and
whole
it
point
did
of
not
that
need
was
to
just
be.
for dance scenes.
Yeah, and
it
this,
was-
oh god, and it was so bad. But also, it was like, look, and I say this as someone who plays the flute to an embarrassingly high level. The flute is not a cool instrument.
No, it's not.
Beatboxing cool flute music is still not cool.
No.
You're still just blowing into a tube with holes in it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it still doesn't sound as good as like a saxophone or a trumpet.
And like, how good would that reveal have been if it was Lord Farquaad?
Yeah, especially if he'd like, even if he was being the Pied Piper, but he was on stilts the whole time,
Yeah.
and you only find out at like the end, or like he does a big reveal when he captures Shrek, and he's like,
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, well, he's just like a renowned
and
magical
like Shrek is
creature
like,
hunter.
it's you, and he's like, I've never seen
Who?
you before in my life.
I have no idea who you're talking about. Yeah, Lord of Farquaad, Lord. Like, yeah, they call me.
I am
Jeremy.
Pied Farquaad.
Yeah, yeah, just something like that. It would have been a great reveal, and they just didn't. And there's so many things in this where it's like it could have been an amazing send off to Shrek, but it felt
Yeah.
like that, like they had just kind of given up a little bit. on, like-
Yeah, they sort of have taken instead of like revising the plot maybe a few times, they've just gone with what is obvious, what can we bash out quickly,
Yeah, without making it at all Shrek-like.
and yeah. So they've got there are funny bits in this, and I did
Yeah.
find myself laughing quite regularly.
Yeah.
But
For me, it was both times that Fat Puss in Boots was sliding down things. I don't know why, I just found that really enjoyable.
my favorite bit with Puss is when she's like, no, because it's basically Puss becomes Fiona's pet.
Yeah.
He hangs up his
Full,
sword, as he says, and he's like, I get all, why would I want to go back to being an assassin? I get all the cream I can eat, and like I'm well like taken care of. Yeah, he's like saying to Fiona, like, oh, do you think I'm getting a little hefty? And she's like, no, you're beautiful. Anyway, who's a pretty kitty, and she's holding up like a brush and a comb, and he just goes, I am.
Yeah.
Proper
He's gone
wetter
full
Puss in
Oliver and
Boots.
Company.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like the character design for Rumpelstiltskin.
No.
He looked like he didn't belong in the Shrek movies.
Yeah, because he's like, they have humans, and they look all the
like
witches
humans.
are like normal. In like, even Lord Farquaad was short, but he still looked normal. Whereas this, it's like, what is he?
He's a fey gremlin thing. I don't know.
Exactly. But it's like, well, why didn't we have any other ones of like?
Yeah.
And he looks too human, but not human enough. Like he sits in the, and they've managed to make an uncanny valley character in an animated universe, which is just like, how?
An animated universe made up of every kind of magical creature you can think of.
And I think, aside from Puss when he's doing his eye thing, everyone else has quite small eyes in this animation style, whereas his eyes are fucking massive.
It looks like someone animated him and then sat on him.
The only, like, this is the only Shrek where the animation as a whole gets a bit of a downgrade.
Oh my goodness, I wanted to talk about that as well. Puss and Donkey are absolutely disgusting to look at in this film.
Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, Donkey is like dirty and like gross in this film anyway.
But the animation is weird. It's either, I can't tell if it's just plain worse, or it's better but in the worst possible ways.
I think it's trying where they've decided, instead of just textures, we're going to animate the individual hairs and the fur, but it actually isn't very good yet.
Yeah. Like, Donkey looks so strange.
Yeah,
and
he looks just not fluffy, but almost spiky, mangy, yeah.
Yeah, and you'd think they would have been like, we'll get Donkey to look normal. We'll shave it. At like some point during the film, they'd be like, and Donkey showered, and he looks like normal Donkey.
But even in the before he signs the contract and the after, because spoilers, they work it out and Shrek goes back to his normal life. Donkey looks hideous in those bits as well.
Yeah. It's too much detail, I think. It did the old like animation problem of too much. Yeah, trying
to do fur, and instead, because the skin doesn't look like skin because they're all green and wibbly or whatever, having them look furry is just not. It just doesn't do them any favors because it's not more realistic than the textures that they were using before.
No, it's just strange.
It's a bit odd, but it was around that time. I mean, this is Frozen era, is it?
Yeah.
Tangled Frozen.
That's 2010, so yeah, Tangled era.
Yeah, Tangled. That was when hair animation really had its big up thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. But like, those other two characters didn't really need it. They looked fine.
Yeah, and also because Shrek is also pretty much hairless.
Yeah.
It's like he hasn't changed.
The animation looked weird.
I mean, he's slightly, but he's still like a smooth skin. I mean, his eyebrows in this are actually pretty weird if you look at them.
He has a weird skin texture. When he does like the close-ups, he has like a realistic skin texture, and it's so uncomfortable to look at.
Yeah,
because it's like you don't need that in this stylized movie.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like they've taken what is a very stylized type of animation, and then try to add realistic aspects to it, which just doesn't work.
And then you have like Rumpelstiltskin that just doesn't have any
like
of that.
He fits in, yeah.
Well, he doesn't have any of like the realistics. He looks like he would fit in Shrek 1 and 2 better in terms of like animation style, because there is none of that extra texture on him.
Well, no, but his hair is gross and spiky, and his chin is like weirdly stubbly, and like his eyes are so overly large and over animated. His eyes are weird.
It's so weird.
Like the Pied Piper, I think fits in well because he looks like the other characters. Like his hair's brown.
Yeah.
And like he's got normal size for this film. He's normal shape and size, so it's like okay, yeah, he fits in. But Rumpelstiltskin always sticks out as like no one else looks even remotely like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even in the universe, you'd be like, this isn't a normal guy.
I know we've said it before, but Pied Piper was a weird character, right?
Yeah, very odd choice.
Just kind of unneeded.
Do you think it's because they'd already used not Peter Pan, Robin Hood. But even that wouldn't matter because Shrek 1, 2, and 3 didn't happen in this movie.
And like again, that would be a great callback to have Robin, and you could essentially do that. What this film could have been is a series of doing the same seasons from Shrek 1 and 2 and 3, not 3, Shrek 1 and 2, doing the iconic scenes just slightly wrong, and that could have been this film, and that's all you needed.
Like I know we say like having a sequel where it does the same thing but slightly different isn't good.
Finale,
but when it's the fourth one and it's like you've had these films that you've built off and that's kind of what it's building on,
it's the finale, and like it's set in an alternate universe where none of that stuff has happened. Having like redoing the Robin Hood scene with his merry men, but this time they're monster hunters, they're ogre hunters. But
or even having him be who Fiona steals his merry men or something because she's like part of the resistance. So they try, obviously, she escapes. They try to capture her, and she like beats them up, and like he has to now work for her.
Yeah, just having
something like that. But like, that was one thing that was cool was when you had the long shot of Far, Far Away, and he's like, oh no, because it's far, far, but the signs are all like crumbling and falling down because we've had that shot in Shrek 2.
Yeah,
of him seeing Far, Far Away for the first time with the Hollywood sign.
Yeah, and I think they should have had more of references in Far, Far Away.
Yeah.
Like more of like him do that scene where he's going through the city.
Yeah, the changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, have it like shot for shot what it was in Shrek 2, but
like have all of
wrong.
The buildings destroyed.
Yeah.
It could have been,
I did like see like that was one bit that because they sort of do that, but it's just it's sort of just the people being captured, like where he's being rounded up right by the castle. But I did enjoy seeing Gingy having to do like Colosseum animal cookie fighting.
Yeah.
They do like a little bit of it. They should have just done more.
Yeah.
And like done all of the iconic scenes from Shrek, and then really had this film be the finale.
Yeah.
And it,
like the big triumph instead of the fine movie.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of It's a Wonderful Life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
where it should have been Avengers Endgame is what we're hearing.
Pretty
well,
much.
you can It's a Wonderful Life it, but you need more emphasis on what you specifically not being there, like the consequences of that. And like they obviously they focus on the main characters, and then you've got this sort of weird ogre revolution, but
it
doesn't make sense. It's because of the whole you're thinking, well, if Shrek wasn't there in that swamp, would all of the fairy creatures moved in?
Yeah, it's
like why is it like empty?
Yeah, it's fully like you don't think about that. Just don't. There's no need to. And it should have. Yeah.
And like, why are the witches on his side, but other magical creatures aren't? When like the witches in the second film were sort of lumped in with all the other villains, and yeah, it was just a bit. I don't know. It's still kind of fun.
No, it's a fun thing to watch, but you definitely shouldn't think about it.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, it's like the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, oh, that was a real mess.
It's a mess of like.
It was a bright, colourful mess.
If you treat it as like the finale, which it kind of treats itself, it's not good. It's an entertaining kids film. It's not a good final.
I felt like I was watching a tolerable kids film rather than a Shrek film.
Yeah, definitely.
There was nothing really in it for the adults. Apart from like, haha, isn't it hard to raise kids? Kind of, isn't that relatable kind of thing?
Yeah. Which again, it's the problem with Shrek 3 is kids don't care about that. And parents don't want to be reminded of it.
No.
Because
like in Shrek, the one bit that Shrek 3 that I guess I did find quite funny. Not that any of us have kids, but just obviously we have quite a few friends now that are parents. The bit where it's like he does that line again, it's like, oh, where were we? After they've got like into a good rhythm of they've got the kids to bed. And it's like, oh, are they gonna, smooch and get it on? And they just cut to them both passed out in their clothes on the bed.
Yeah.
Like, just getting some sleep. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that was quite funny, and that'll get parents to be like, that was, what is my ideal date now? A nap.
Yeah. And then, but then, like, it doesn't do anything else like that ever again.
And it's like
No.
they really oversimplify parenthood in this film, considering this film is about him being a parent.
Yeah,
First one's about him coming to terms with the fact that he's becoming a parent, but this one's like being a parent. And like, yes, it is exhausting and it can be boring, but at the same time, like, this is supposed to be what, over the course of the year?
Yeah,
It does the
and
whole
all it
season
is
thing.
just the
Those babies,
repetitiveness,
they would be changing and growing so
Yeah.
much, and like it is,
we don't know how
there is a lot of joy
quickly
in raising
ogres-
kids.
We don't know how quickly ogres grow.
It might be like Yoda.
They might be babies forever and suddenly big.
Yeah.
Uh.
And that's
So maybe that's what happens,
Shrek
and
is
we don't know
canonically
it.
800 years old.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
this version, all those ogre babies have just aged, and that's why they're all able to work together.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I get what you mean though. It
It
really
just is like
simplifies.
it's not. It just didn't ring true. Like going from that, because it's Shrek. It's like the whole point is that he's supposed to be at the end of the third film. He's excited about having kids.
Oh,
he's stronger in
yeah.
himself. He's capable, and then it's suddenly like he's ground down so quickly, and it's just
Yeah.
like, no,
I
why
think-
doesn't he tell Donkey to fuck off? That's like his favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's like a core problem with
Yeah.
3 and
None of the
4.
characters act like themselves. It's the problem we had with Fiona in the first, in not the first one,
Yeah.
in the Shrek 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a problem with both
where
3
she
and
doesn't
4.
act like Fiona, and this one
They-
it's like Shrek doesn't act like
Isn't.
Shrek, and like
Well-
the linchpin of him having this midlife crisis doesn't ring true.
It's not just that though. It's like the films completely forget all of the development they did in the earlier film. Like
Yeah,
1
because they're
and
like,
2,
we need to like reset to status quo so that this character can have growth again. But it's like,
Well,
you don't need
but it's
that.
the
like,
same growth. It's the same growth. It's
yeah, just
exactly.
build on what you already
Yeah.
had.
Well, like 1 and 2 do that fine, and I think that's why the transition from Shrek 1 to Shrek 2 is fine, because they keep all of the character development and then just put that developed Shrek in a new
Yeah,
situation.
it's like he's
he
able to
doesn't
love
like.
one person, and then it's like, oh god, now and
You
like
have to
have some
deal with
friends.
his family.
Now it's like, what about loving all of who they are
Yeah, and then
and like
Shrek-
family?
But then Shrek 3 kind of immediately drops that, and then goes, Shrek is not comfortable with being. Shrek wants to go back to the swamp. That's Shrek 3 is Shrek wants to go home. He doesn't want to be king. He doesn't like all this stuff. And then he learns that he's actually okay, and it makes him and his relationship with Fiona stronger. And he's
yeah,
excited to
because
have
he,
kids.
he's like, I would give up the swamp for her.
Yeah, and then it immediately goes back to them in the swamp.
Which is, it's fine that they're in the swamp, but it's like this whole idea of it. Yeah, it's like, oh, suddenly he's not okay with everything. It's like,
yeah,
it was It's a boring plot.
it forgets all of
respect.
the development it's already done, and that's like
Yeah, it's like, let's
Bad.
quickly speed through a year of the same repetitive thing happening, and that grinds down Shrek enough.
And then he does the exact same thing he did in Shrek 3, where he's got to learn to be a good person, and he actually does love his family.
Yeah,
And
he wants to have a
will
bit of
miss
him
them.
time, but then realizes that actually now there's severe consequences and oh shit.
Yeah, he wants to go back. He wants to quote unquote go back to the swamp. He doesn't like his new life. He wants to go back to the swamp. He wants to go back to being an ogre.
It's a bit more nuanced than that. He wants a day off. He wants a holiday.
Yeah, but he wants to go back to being an ogre, which is the same thing
Yeah,
in
exa-
Shrek 3. And it's like,
But it is supposed to be like just for a day. He just wants that release of being
yeah, but you
rough
could have
and
had
angry for a day. And it's like, well,
you could have had a better development to getting there. Have him being like happy to be a dad, excited, and then have like him actually be ground down. And also have Fiona be ground down. Fiona's like perfectly happy with being a mum, and she has infinite mum energy. And she shouldn't. She should be fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
She should be as
she should
irritable
also
as
be
Shrek.
kicking out Donkey
Yeah,
all the time and like
but like she should
frustrated
be-
and shouting and like what like and
So like the idea that him going, I want a day off, and she's like, well, you have me and the kids. It's not like her going, what do you think I want, you dick? Like
Yeah.
it's like I want a day off too.
that should be her reaction of like, of course you want a day off. So do I. You don't get one though. We
If
don't
only
get
we were
that.
royalty and we could have a nanny.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they said no to that.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been great if she was like, oh yeah, imagine if we were in the castle and we could have nannies. But no.
Well, they
you
get
said-
in Shrek 3 they get offered the nanny at the end.
Yeah. Could have had that. Like, that would have been a perfect joke. It's like, could have had the nanny.
Yeah.
And you could have.
Or maybe
the
they
callback.
call the maybe he gets desperate and he calls the nanny
Well,
and is like,
they-
"Look, we just need a day off. We just need a break." Like they've just had a screaming match where they're both angry at each other, and that's what Thingy overhears.
Yeah.
Rebel stalks him over, and the maybe you see that the nanny is like on holiday somewhere, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Sorry, I've retired." He's like in Florida or something.
You could even have Fiona be like, "I'll call a nanny." Or you can have a nanny and Shrek be like, "I don't want a nanny looking after my kids." And you can have that fight and have them like both be irritated. Fiona is way too calm in this film for a new mum of triplets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She shouldn't be that okay with everything that's happening. She should be a little bit more irritable. She should be like Shrek.
Yeah, like, and if she was more like frazzled and not entirely sure what she's doing, then that juxtaposes sort of barbarian Fiona even better, because barbarian Fiona is like the leader of all these ogres, and she's like plans things, and
and then you could have the finale where Fiona's like distraught and like, I don't know if I can be a mum, and Shrek could come up to her and be like, I have seen you lead an army of ogres, and she's like, what are you talking about? Like, that would have been an amazing ending to be like,
yeah, it's like you can raise an army of ogres.
I've watched
you can raise 3.
Yeah.
you can handle these 3. I
I've
promise.
watched you do it. Especially
And this time you're not doing it alone.
Especially if he was really specific. It's like, you could raise an army of ogres against an evil, magical contract guy with evil contracts that change the world. And she's like, what are you talking about?
Which is also a great joke, because there's that bit in like when he first meets that the barbarian Fiona, he's like trying to go through what's happened, but it's just the dumbest way of saying it all. And she's just like, what?
Yeah, it's the same problem with Shrek 3. With Shrek 3, Fiona just becomes the female character.
Yeah.
She becomes the woman in the film, and
I feel like they're quite almost smug in her depiction, where they're like, well, we've made her like, a
She's
super
tough.
tough woman, and like she likes him because she can fight him, and like and it's like that's how they bond, is over like knocking 7 lights out of each other. And it's like, well, no, because we've actually already established that part of her character. Like, she could do with some growth too, please.
Yeah, and again, having her be a frazzled mum that's panicking, and have him be like, I need to get away from this, and then to learn that empathy and be like, actually, she's tough as nails. She just doesn't know it right now, and she's scared she's going to do something wrong. That's such a parenting thing.
Yeah, it is very dismissive of what it would be like to be Fiona.
Yeah, because Fiona's just she's uber mum who can look after 3 kids and not be bothered.
And like he even mentions when he's talking about, like, he's trying to prove to alternate universe Fiona that he does know her. He's like, you sleep with the light on because you're terrified that every time you go to sleep you'll wake up back in that tower.
Yeah.
And it's like, she's clearly not well.
Yeah.
Like, how is she coping with 3 kids as well as this like huge amount of PTSD she has? I know that obviously it's technically worse in this like alternative reality where she wasn't rescued.
But she still, he mentioned
it was still bad in the first, in Shrek 1.
And and I think, she should have been more developed as a character and not been as perfect as she is.
And like this whole idea of her like curse this time being like, and a deep dark secret being that she turns into a human in the sunlight, is just like, it's so not looked at or developed at all.
Oh yeah, they mention it like twice. The only reason they bring it up is so they have an excuse to be like, she's not a real ogre.
Yeah.
And also,
then at the end, when
saying,
it's like, oh, it must have worked because she didn't turn into a human in the daylight.
Yeah, and also like him saying at the beginning of the film, when they're having the argument, is, but you're not a real ogre. And then at the end, that's the only bit of like, what's it called? Dramatic irony? Not dramatic irony. But you know what I mean? That like callback moment where
bookending.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah,
because it's
like that bit of Rumpelstiltskin being like, you freed all the ogres, but she's not really an ogre, is she? And it's like, that's a good kind of twist bit, I guess.
Yeah, it's a good callback to where he said earlier, you're not a real ogre.
Yeah.
They should have done that more and made more of a point of that. Because him just saying you're not a real ogre Well, she wasn't as devastated by that as she probably should have been.
Yeah, because she is an ogre now. Like,
She's
she's
an ogre
in
by
her
heart.
true form because of True Love's Kiss. And
She's an yeah.
Yeah,
she could be
like
I'm
like in Shrek 2, she's like, I changed a lot for you.
yeah.
Like, remember that I changed for you.
Yeah, and that fight should have been bigger, and she should have said like, I the only reason I'm an ogre is because of you.
yeah,
And like had that like, yeah. There's also that thing with Fiona where it's like, why is she an ogre? Like why, as in like, why is she in the alternate universe? Why is she like leading the ogre army? Why isn't she trying to like pass as a person?
yeah.
Yeah, there's no explanation for it. It's like,
Yeah, it's just she broke herself out, so I guess she did that in ogre form and was like, "Oh, I'm strong.
I might as well lead these ogres."
but she was perfectly fine beating the shit out of the merry men.
Yeah,
As a person.
in Shrek 1 as a person,
As a human.
as a human. So it's like, it's like, well, it could have been explained of like, and I met an ogre and they thought I was an ogre and she sort of had to run with it this whole time.
Yeah.
And now it feels like she's found her family and it being an ogre is right for her.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
But
like
they
she's
just
trying to
don't-
fight back to get to the castle because she knows that
Yeah.
her parents were killed or something as well.
Yeah.
But there's none of that.
Oh yeah,
Like
no,
her actual reasons for this disruption of like is he is evil and he's kidnapping ogres.
Yeah.
And it's like,
he's
okay,
he's
but
kidnapping
like,
ogres because he wants to get Shrek.
yeah.
Because Shrek is the only person that could ruin everything. Also, yeah, she doesn't ever mention her parents.
No, it's like
She's
she got locked away by them and then broke out and they were gone and the kingdom that she grew up in was taken over by this horrible man.
you would assume if I was her, I would assume Rumpelstiltskin killed his parents, right?
Yeah.
But she's never like, he killed my parents, and then you have Shrek be like, ugh. Well, actually, no, that's kind of my bad. She's never mentioned. She's just not developed, and it's really disappointing for a Shrek film because in the first and second film, she's such a driven character, and
And
she's
if they so he makes them disappear.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do this exact same thing of Shrek where it's like she doesn't exist. He doesn't exist anymore.
yeah, they're not like wiped from the universe, from reality. He just kills them essentially.
Okay, because it's like if they'd gone, obviously, then there'd be repercussions of like Fiona also not existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it could have been. I feel like it could have been a better argument because the other thing is, and this is an issue you have with all alternative reality things, by Shrek trying to create his reality, he is killing everyone else in their reality.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And all these ogres who have banded together to create an army are now just probably on their own hating each other again.
Also, no, Shrek should have been. They should have done more. Shrek should have accepted at some point that he's never getting home. He's never going back to his reality, and just gone, okay, I'll help fix yours.
Yeah.
But again, they don't. They kind of do that, but it's not enough.
He sort of because like he has this one wish. If he like Rumpelstiltskin does this thing, is like, I will give you a wish, like no
string attached.
Yeah,
you
no
get
strings attached. If
everything
you
you've
bring
ever
me Shrek.
wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, the deal of a lifetime one, yeah.
Yeah, and he just turns up.
So what he does is he's like, well, I've brought myself in. I want that wish, and he wishes for all the ogres to be freed, which is like because he knows it. But it's like because that gesture is what will make her love him, not because that's the right thing to do, and it doesn't matter if he dies anymore.
Yeah, it should have fully been I don't care about me anymore. I want to fix. I'm clearly not getting home. I want to fix this universe.
Yeah.
And also, he doesn't break down hard enough when he finds out his kids are not alive.
Yeah, he's very okay. He cries a little bit, and then he's like, "I need to get them back." It's like, no, it's so.
And like he doesn't say to Fiona, it was like, no, you like I have to do this. We have children. I need to get back to them.
Yeah, he's got his kid's toy the whole time and only brings it out right at the end before he like fucking disappears.
Yeah, he brings it out. Yeah, he never actually shows. He shows Donkey. That's about it.
Yeah,
but he never shows her or it's so.
It could have hit so much harder this film.
And it's the same with Shrek 3. It's such a good setup for a Shrek film, but it just sort of flounders on the Shrekness of it.
Yeah.
And like, it's not a bad film. It's just not. It's not a Shrek film.
Yeah.
And there's no music. There's no pop culture references. There's no fight scene set to good music. Even the ending song is a cover of an old song they used.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the only like decent song. Like the soundtrack in this is just so unremarkable, and they have like one of the villains, like this, Pied Piper assassin, plays music as his like thing, and they all dance, and it's like, why is that not? Why did they not pick better tunes? And I'm like, did they just have a smaller budget?
Yeah,
did they not get
obviously.
those?
Yeah,
No.
They clearly just couldn't get the big song. And on that point, so Shrek is enough of an ogre for the Pied Piper's pipe to work on her, but not enough of an ogre to count when you say all ogres, right?
I think that's just more Rumpelstiltskin being a little cunt.
All the save all of the other ogres and not himself. Maybe.
I think it's just Rumpelstiltskin just trying to twist the words to make things go his way, like the
but then you go by the words, and the ogre pipe shouldn't work on Fiona because she's not an ogre.
No, you're right there.
Like, it shouldn't have worked on her.
Oh yeah, I just mean that she is an ogre, but Rumpelstiltskin's like, nah, not according to me. Fuck you.
But then he could do that. But then that's not a real rule, because then you could.
Well, I guess it's one of those things where it's like his magic rules are like incredibly specific. So his clause in that might have been that only the.
But I thought that the point of that was there was no clauses. The thing of a lifetime was meant to be completely without clause, so it shouldn't have been there. By the film's own rules, Shrek is Fiona is either enough of an ogre to be Pied Pipered, or not enough of an ogre to count as an ogre being freed.
Yeah, no, you're right there. That's another whole. God damn it, Shrek 4.
You could have been so good. This is the most disappointing one. Because this one.
I definitely preferred this one to Shrek 3.
No, I prefer this one to Shrek 3, but this one could have been so much better. This one could have been Shrek 2 levels of good. Shrek 3 could have been Shrek 1 levels of good. This one could have been Shrek 2 levels of good. And because it has the storyline and the space to make that kind of that go for that level and make it just full of meta references and...
Yeah, like even if the ending was they have to storm the castle run by Rumpelstiltskin and they get the giant gingerbread man and everything, and
yeah, or like even just reference it being like, hey Gingy, do you know the Muffin Man? And just have Gingy go, no.
or he moved.
Yeah. As you go, the Muffin Man that lives on your own, actually no, he moved.
Yeah,
and then got killed by Rumpelstiltskin. Oh. You could have, they need to do more of those references. And it felt like they just wanted to get to the end of this film as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I guess in terms of the actual film...
No, I prefer our one. I'm going to rate our one.
Yeah, but that's going to skew the votes.
I think for me, 5 glorious plot holes. 4 storyline created plot holes. Concept creative plot holes, I think. I don't think it's that good of a... It's just disappointing for what it could have been. It could have been great. This could have been Shrek 2 great. It's Shrek 3 bad.
Yeah, I think I was going to go for Weezer covering the final songs. Because, that was the only song in this fucking movie. And
it would have been, again, it would have been better if there were more songs from from the other 2 Shrek films.
And even if they were covers because, it's an alternate reality and everything's a bit weird.
It would have made more sense.
Yeah. But like I say, I didn't hate this as much as I hated Shrek 3. Like it was, but like I say, it's just a fine kids film, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 horribly hairy animated cats and donkeys in this. It's truly revolting. I keep saying this and then never do, but I will try and post a screenshot of this film in the chat in the Discord.
When it comes out.
Obviously when it comes out. I don't need to scar anyone before they've listened to this. They're like, what the fuck is she posting? But yeah, and maybe just a comparison shot of them in the other films to just show how much furrier and how worse they look in this one, because it is jarring and it did distract me from the movie. And like, I was watching it in 720. I've not got a full HD TV.
Oh, it's not better.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, it's not like, you know, when you watch something old and you watch it in like a proper OLED screen and you're just like, yikes, that's not doing it any favors.
Yeah, no,
I watched it in the dimensions it's supposed to be watched at, and it was still not good. Yeah, could have been better. I was just looking at the list of songs, and it's like the only one is like Top of the World and Sure Shot by the Beastie Boys, but I don't really remember that one.
I think that's just what the Pied Piper does.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not proper versions of them.
No.
Also, having Beastie Boys in it, great.
Oh, yeah. Just have Sabotage. That song makes any film better.
Yeah, that could have been the end. No end fight song.
No.
No, I need a hero scene.
Well,
film should have been better than it was.
Yeah. September started high.
It started. We all knew this was going to happen, though. You can't go into Shrek-tember, can't watch the Shrek films in order and be like, it's going to be a good ending.
It was a real roller coaster, though. You go up, and then you go down hard. And then you just a little reprise out at the end. It got, yeah.
You have to have that little reprise so you can get back to the station.
Yeah, the tracks have to connect.
Yeah.
It's just weird because Shrek is such a staple. Like, I like Shrek 2 still remains like such a staple in my mind and like something I think about.
One of the best films ever made. Like, definitely one of the best animated films ever made.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's so enjoyable and so well done, and then it's just such a shame for the way it panned out in the end.
It shows you how good Shrek 1 and 2 is, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people don't even reference, like, there isn't even like a funny reference to Shrek 3 and 4. There's not even memes that involve Shrek 3 and 4. Well,
Do the Raw, and that is it.
That's it. That's how good Shrek 1 and 2 is, that you forget about 3 and 4.
Yeah, you signed the contract with Rumpelstiltskin to only remember 1 and 2.
Yeah. It's very rare that a series of films can have horrific films, like 3 and 4, and still be considered amazing.
Oh, it's just fully Star Wars, yeah.
It's rare that they don't kill... Normally, bad films kill franchises.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess the difference between this and Star Wars, though, is that everyone like agrees which are the bad ones in Shrek, so...
There's also like a lot more. I'm sure if there was 6 and then 9 Shrek films, we'd probably have a better scale of which ones are good and which ones are bad.
Yeah.
When you have 4 and 2 of them are amazing, 2 of them are up there as some of the best animated films ever made. Like, award-winning animated films up there.
And it's a money thing as well, isn't it? It's if they had all this stuff like ploughed into them, maybe they, maybe 3 and 4 still wouldn't have been great, but they put in the big revival reboot Shrek and plough loads of cash into it, and suddenly
we should never have a reboot. Shrek should just be left alone now. I really don't want anyone to ever
leave it alone.
Shrek.
Like, do Puss in Boots however much you want. Apparently the last one was decent. Probably leave it there, actually.
Really good. Yeah, stop doing fucking
God.
learn.
Puss in Boots are gonna have some baby kittens, and then
you could make as many spin-offs of Shrek as you want. Just don't have them involve Shrek as a character. Yeah. Only make 2.
Yeah. I'm excited for the Donkey prequel series.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for the TV series Donkey.
It's surprisingly dark and gritty.
Yeah, no, they really like Riverdaled it up.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
He gets stabbed in like the first episode. It's about how he became a talking donkey.
Yeah, he does have a pretty traumatic life, so it could work.
And then you get the 8-part mini-series of Fiona.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the Tower Diaries.
Yeah, it's the Tower Diaries. It's just called Tower. It's Fiona's experience in the tower.
Yeah, not to be confused with Towie.
Yeah. And then you have
where Fiona goes to Essex and gets lip injections.
The only way Shrek 6. No, that doesn't work.
And then you have the talent show involving the fairy godmother and Prince Charming. Oh, you could get a lot out.
Yeah, you could do like a Tales from Far, Far Away.
Yeah, if Shrek was made now, there would be number one, it would be on like Netflix, and there'd be 1,000 series around it.
I mean, to be fair, there are like there's all the little like Christmas and Halloween ones, and just all the short little Shrek videos. And,
yeah, they're fine because they're like 10, 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's not like they've ever... No, I really hope no one's ever thinking about making Shrek the TV show. Really hope they never do that. But Puss in Boots is fine.
You're not looking forward to the live-action Shrek reboot?
Well, you can watch the recording of Shrek the musical.
Yeah. And again, Shrek the musical, great.
I've never seen it, but...
It's just insane. It's just like, what do they do? Oh, okay. And it captures the energy, that like... weird, chaotic energy of Shrek. They capture it really well. They capture it better than they do in Shrek 3 and 4. It's also just weird to turn it into a musical, and I like that part of it.
There was originally going to be 5 Shrek films, apparently, but they decided to wrap it up with just the 4th one. Like, before it was out, they decided that.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they do with Shrek 5, if I'm honest.
No.
Teenagers. That's what they
apparently, Shrek 5 was also... in April 2023, so this is hot off the press.
Yep.
Hot off the press for a nostalgia-based podcast.
No, this is probably the most recent news of anything we're ever going to do.
Meledandri, who are a studio. Studio? No, that's Chris. American film producer, CEO of Illumination.
Right.
Chris Meledandri. Revealed that a 5th film was still in talks with the original cast expected to return.
I mean...
And there is also an untitled Donkey spin-off film.
Oh, Jesus. See what I mean?
It's in early talks.
See what I mean, though? We don't need it. Make new films. Pay writers properly and make
there's
new...
a 3... So, there's shorts, which I don't think we need to watch, but you have Shrek in the Swamp Karaoke Dance Party.
100%. I'm watching
actually,
that anyway.
Yeah, we could watch that.
That sounds great.
It takes place during the last scene of Shrek, before Shrek and Fiona leave on their honeymoon. There's film characters performing a medley of modern pop songs.
That sounds great. See, these are just like extra. You say these are bad. These are just like extras on a DVD.
Yeah, this is like special scenes.
Yeah, this is fine.
Shrek 4D is one of the is a 4D film / ride at various theme parks.
Yeah,
and it was released on DVD.
Oh. DVD, but it only works if you've got one of them chairs that you can recline in.
Yeah, and someone to like throw a bucket of water at you at certain time. The short takes place right after the first Shrek film. Lord Farquaad returns from the dead to kidnap Princess Fiona and is up to Shrek and Donkey to rescue her.
Oh, I want to watch that. That sounds
Donkey,
wild.
And then 2010 is Donkey's Caroling Christmas Spectacular.
Yeah, Christmas ones, these are fine. These are just
because there's Shrek the Halls as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so there's... I think Shrek the Hall is the three-parter of Donkey's Caroling Christmas Spectacular, Shrek's Yule Log, and Thriller Night.
That sounds like a whole episode where Shrek just takes a big dump.
It's just a shot of him in that porta potty.
Just for like 10
it's just
minutes.
that for like 10 minutes of him going, ah! And every now and then in the distance you hear him go, you okay, honey?
Oh, brilliant. So Thriller Night is a 6-minute short parody film of Michael Jackson's music video Thriller.
Great. None of these sound like problems, because they're
released September 13th, 2011 on the Scared Shrekless DVD.
Love it. This is the
sounds
kind
to
of
me like Shrektember is forever.
This is
Deceased
the
characters
kind of...
such as Lord Farquaad, Mungo, Rumpelstiltskin, Fifi, Fairy Godmother, Prince Charming, and King Harold in his frog form appear as zombies.
Amazing.
The 3D version of the short was added in October 2011 to the Nintendo Video Service for Nintendo 3DS.
Fuck.
I have a 3DS. I might
Watch it.
boot that bad boy up and see if I can watch this in 3D.
This is the kind of franchising that I want from every film series ever. I don't fuck you and your 18.
Oh, so
28
the
Marvel
pig who
films.
cried werewolf.
Give me
Limited
like-
for a limited time was exclusively on the Nintendo video service on the 3DS, but then
Love it.
unfortunately it was also released on DVD and Blu-ray.
Unfortunately.
that just reminded me of something that I didn't realise until this time around. So you know how in like Austin Powers and everything, Mike Myers plays multiple characters?
Mm.
Yeah.
He plays multiple characters in this too. He's one of the pigs. No,
Is he?
no, he's not one of the pigs. He's one of the blind mice.
Yeah. I knew
Okay, well
that.
that's fine.
Yeah.
We've mentioned that before.
Oh, did we? Oh, I
Yeah.
did not
He's
realise.
just a side.
Oh,
character.
sorry. No, I'm only halfway through the spin-off page on the Shrek franchise Wikipedia. So you're right. So there's obviously Far, Far Away Idol that I mentioned in Shrek 2.
Yeah.
Then there's Shrek the Halls is a 22-minute Christmas-themed television special set after the events of Shrek the Third, but before the events of Shrek Forever After.
Yeah.
And then the Scared Shrekless is a 21-minute Halloween-themed television special.
This is how franchises
Shrek
should do
challenges
spin-offs.
Donkey, Puss in Boots, and his other fairy tale friends to spend the night in Lord Farquaad's haunted castle. And
Great.
scary stories to see who can resist becoming scared and stay the longest. And
This
then
is
there's
great.
Puss in Boots, Trapped in an Epic Tale, which was an interactive special.
But this is what kids' entertainment franchises should
Yeah.
do. Is just
And
do
then
a
there's the
load of
television
mini
series, The Adventures of Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah, no, I remember the TV series, but it's not like gritty and edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just fun little things for kids to watch with characters they know and love.
Yeah.
Someone has
Um,
made an incredibly complicated table.
Is it a Shrek
In-
Like a
in
Shrek
this.
timeline.
Well, it's the characters and where they appear and who voices them.
Wow. So is this the Shrek U? The
Yeah.
SEU.
Yeah, because unsurprisingly, in some of the shorts, it is not Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz and Eddie Murphy.
Incredible.
Damn. The Shrek extended universe is really
Yeah.
weird.
The SEU is an odd one.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and there's lots of silent cameos as well, which makes sense.
of course.
They're a lot cheaper.
Yeah, you don't have to pay the actors.
Well, I guess learning that Shrek Timber is going to continue.
Yeah. September's
In our
going on
hearts,
forever,
in our
baby.
minds. Yes.
It's always Shrek-tember somewhere.
September never dies.
So with that, I have been Dan.
I have been Michael.
And I've been Helena.
You can find this podcast on social media at Hilton Pod. That's at HILTM Pod. We're on Discord as well. If you want to come and give us your Shrek hot takes, I guess.
Tell us
Or
how
what's
you
your
got
favourite
Shrek'd.
short Shrek thing that they released?
Tell us how you got Shrek'd.
Yes. How did you get Shrek'd?
How's your
We also
September going,
have
everyone?
a Patreon where you can support the show. We have bonus episodes and things on there, and you can get shout outs.
Yeah.
But what special thing are we doing for the Patreon this
We're
week?
going to go use your money to find a Rumpelstiltskin.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to ask him for a contract to fix Shrek 4.
Thank God for that. I thought you were going to say to make this podcast good. I was like, geez.
All three of us are replaced with funnier people.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah, what I offer up is a day that one of my childhood days that I don't remember.
Yeah.
He's going to pick the day I was born. And it's actually him on the podcast instead of me. Because he wants this podcasting empire that we have created.
Exactly.
No, I'm going to remake Shrek 4, and honestly, I can't think of what he can take off me. I'm a man with nothing to lose.
And a lot to
that was-
gain by a decent Shrek 4.
Yeah, I'm a man with nothing to lose, Rumpel.
Exactly. We could have spent the last hour.
Do your
Actually
worst.
happy.
Try and
Try-
ruin my life.
try-
You'll find it's already pretty much there.
What can you take away from me that I haven't already ruined myself? Small man. What fine print can you create?
And it's
to
like,
stop
I'm going to
this
make you
man?
miserable forever. I'm like, okay.
Oh no.
Fucking hell.
Try again.
Will I notice the difference?
Like, great, more meds.
You don't even have to make it fine print, buddy.
Yeah. All that's happened is that they, fluoxetine no longer exists in our universe. I'm like, oh.
Like, I picked the day you were born. Oh, thank fuck.
You know what, Rumpy? That's a relief.
I don't
just
even
shaking
have
his hand. We're okay, just for the record. We're doing fine.
I don't even have
You don't need to call anyone.
That means I don't even have to worry about being killed. No one will miss me because I never existed. That's it. It's over without the guilt.
Mikey, do we need to It's a Wonderful Life you?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, good.
I'm fine.
Because we could, sometimes I'm thinking maybe we should start putting this Patreon money towards, therapy.
But like for the film, because we're forced to watch these kinds of films, not because of not because the type of people that make these kind of podcasts need therapy.
No, it's because we're slowly ruining our childhood memories.
People will make a podcast before even going to therapy. That is true, though. This is a particularly damaging podcast to make because we are just ruining our childhoods.
Yeah,
one of my
memories are just
ruining the only times we were happy. We're literally targeting our happy memories.
Targeting the good bits and ruining them.
And just ruining them with the goal to ruin them.
I suppose the nice thing is that I still think I like some movies, so there's still a bit left.
We are the mental
Sometimes
health.
there's
There's more to ruin.
Happiness.
We are the mental. This is why we refuse to do certain films because fuck us, like you just can't take it. The amount of psychic damage.
Love the. I always remember the look my therapists give me when I first tell them that I do a podcast.
What
It's great.
about ruining childhood. Anyway,
Ta-ra!
bye with the happy Shrektember, everyone.
I'm just sad that I never got a chance during this entire month to put in the song "Wake Me Up When Shrektember Ends," but that's probably a good thing.